Hello, trading is closed on March 31st, 2021. We always start with our disclaimer. Tomorrow's April Fool's Day. It's my call for that day. I can be fooled. Everything I say can be completely wrong. Trade at your own risk. Please follow the rules of my channel, and if you need to contact me, here's my email. 2 nights ago, we said lower prices should print, and they did. Didn't have a call last night. I've been busy till the end of the month. Month's over. The longer term pattern is you want this number to hold a little leeway, 39.4207. Like to see a rally over 4,030, but that doesn't mean you go up every day, and doesn't mean you go up in a straight line. Doesn't even mean you go up tomorrow. Today is a pattern with the early high, tends to be a rally day and close in the final hour. That didn't happen. Failure is a straight line drop. That's what I'm calling this. If, that's an if, we gap up and take out this high fast, ideally by gapping over it, that restores the positive nature of today's pattern. But if we don't, then this probably is a straight line drop. This probably is a failure to close near a high, and typically it leads to lower prices even if you don't have a lower close. Early on, MEJT gave an ultimate buy signal and we went up. It then gave an ultimate sell signal. It did have a target to print over this line. That's resistance. That printed. We then dropped. MEJT says it won't stick. Target's 3991.82. Most likely to print tomorrow. Just remember, when you're this close to an all-time high, that's when these things have a greater tendency to fail to print in their preferred time frame. Doesn't mean this won't, just means it's less accurate than if you weren't near an all-time high. Here's your stilt, here's your inverted diamond on stilts. Fibonacci target of the diamond gave us today's high. Here's the origin of the left stilt. Till the last 5 minutes we're holding above it, and that tends to be support. If you stay under it, that's resistance. But the last 5 minutes can trick you. Moves in the last 5 minutes aren't always to be believed. So if you're a bull, what you want to do is hold on to this support level. Ideally gap up and take out today's high, and that restores all the positive nature of today's trade. You start lower instead, it's pretty negative. That's resistance, that line. And you have a straight line drop, which tends to be followed by lower prices. Should know by the open if that's going to hold or not. Tomorrow's pattern has a early low, doesn't mean you won't gap up. Today we gapped up at a higher high, closed not only under the highs but also under the lows. Either we gap and promptly overtake today's highs, or we see lower prices tomorrow, even if we don't close lower. Today's pattern typically rallies into the close. When that doesn't happen, it's negative unless you invalidate it early at tomorrow's open. Failure is a straight line drop. That's what I'm calling this for now. It should lead to lower prices. If you gap and overtake the high, ideally with a gap over that turns the tables, restores the typical bullish nature of today's pattern. It's not impossible because we have a higher MEJT target. The rules call for that target to print tomorrow unless we gap down smartly. Failed targets are typical of tops, so we can't have the usual degree of assurance the target prints. Doesn't mean I'm calling for a top, means you can't say it isn't. So this is support resistance. It's a negative pattern. If you're a bull, you need to invalidate it by gapping, taking out this high, and if we don't do that, we should see lower prices. Here's our target, 3991.82. Risk of failure increases, particularly if we gap down. And that's today's call.